CMSportsNet is made possible by Genova's To Go and by Carroll Lynx.
Hi there, I'm Pat Stoetzer, and welcome to Episode 8 of Game On, where we've got you covered on all things Carroll County High School sports. The regular season is winding down, but we've got plenty of fall sports to get into, so let's not waste any time. It's Game On. We're going to get you set for Week 8 in Carroll County Athletic League football, and we'll see which boys and girls soccer teams are trying to play their best as the regional playoffs approach. We'll also take a look at the Carroll Lynx for soccer and volleyball and see the latest athlete of the week. Plus, we'll unveil another sports spotlight segment this week. We're going to take a look at football results from Week 7, and let's start with the CMSportsNet Game of the Week from last Friday, when Manchester Valley hosted Francis Scott Key in a game that went down to the final minute. The Carroll County Athletic League's football season reached Week 7, and Manchester Valley welcomed Francis Scott Key to the northern end of the county for what turned into another competitive game between Carroll rivals. Man Valley doesn't waste much time. FSK punts on the opening drive, and the Mavericks take to the ground. Isaiah Farabee takes the handoff from Gene Maggin and finds daylight for a 63-yard touchdown run. Braden Fritz kicks the PAT, and the home team leads 7-0. The Mavericks are on the move in the second quarter, but miscommunication leads to a loose ball, and Jermaine Dawson falls on it for the Eagles. Key takes over on the turnover. Man Valley back on offense, and Maggin looks over the middle on this pass. But Ben Stevens steps in front and snags his 4th interception of the season, another Eagles turnover. It's a stalemate, though, until late in the second quarter, and the Eagles get on the board when Keandre Grooms plunges into the end zone from 5 yards out. FSK goes for 2 and converts, and the visitors lead 8-7 as we reach halftime. Now it's Man Valley's turn to make a defensive play. Jordan Hughes goes up on this pass attempt from Stevens and hauls in the INT near midfield. Maggin takes to the air and finds James Herndon down the far sideline for a 45-yard touchdown strike. Another Fritz point after gives the Mavericks a 14-8 lead. Again, Man Valley is in position to score as we're into the fourth quarter, and Maggin throws on 3rd and 5, but FSK's Colton Feiser leaps, and it's another pick for the Eagles. Francis Scott Key faces a 4th and 3 late in the fourth quarter, and Stevens connects with Braden Haven for a 43-yard touchdown pass. Key tries for 2 again, but fails, and we're tied up 14-14. The Mavericks save their best for last. On 3rd and 10 in the final seconds, it's Maggin to Herndon one more time. This one goes for 45 yards and the game-winning touchdown. Final score is Man Valley 21, Francis Scott Key 14. James Herndon grabs a pair of TD passes, and the Mavericks improve to 4-3, 3-2 in the county despite 4 turnovers. Ben Stevens has 2 interceptions on defense for the Eagles, but they fall to 1-6, 1-4 in the CCAL. Punctuated with a big flip there at the end. Raekwon Warfield ran for 3 touchdowns, and Westminster got past Century thanks to a big second half. South Carroll got its first win of 2023 and first for new coach Mike Crumley with an overtime thriller against rival Liberty. Winters Mill reached a program record for wins in the season when the Falcons moved to 7-0 by beating Springbrook at home. It's still Westminster and Winters Mill perched atop the county standings, and no matter what happens this week, their Week 9 matchup will be for the Carroll County Championship. The Mavericks can also lock up a winning CCL record this week. Carroll County is getting ready for Week 8, which features 3 intra-county matchups on tap. South Carroll at Century, Winters Mill at Manchester Valley, and Westminster at Liberty. It's tough to pick just one as our game of the week, so we're going to bring you coverage of all 3. That's right, it's another round of CMSportsNet's multi-game coverage. Join me and Mike Kraus with our pregame show that starts at 6:15, followed by kickoff at 6:30 from around the county. Francis Scott Key has the non-county game this week when the Eagles welcome South Hagerstown to Uniontown. We've mentioned the 3 other games already. Century's dropped 3 in a row against South Carroll. Man Valley has won 4 straight against Winters Mill, and Liberty is 0 for its last 4 against Westminster, but only by a combined 25 points. Let's take a look at some team stats for these upcoming county matchups. First up is South Carroll and Century. South Carroll had 21 points scored through the first 5 weeks, but the Cavs put up 45 in the last 2 games. The Knights have only scored 15 points over their last 5 games. Taking a look at Winters Mill at Manchester Valley now, the Falcons almost matched their best point total of the season with that win last week, and their defense is only allowing 8.3 points per game. The Mavericks have won 3 of 4 and scored 52 points in their previous 2 games. Time to talk about Westminster. The Owls got a big game on the ground from Raekwon Warfield, like we said, and Westminster has rushed for more than 1,400 yards this season. Warfield is averaging 8.2 yards per carry, and Kyrese Walker goes for 10.5 yards per tote. Jocelyn O'Donnell has a county best 7 sacks, and Casey Heisig leads the CCAL with 66 tackles. Over to Liberty now, where the Lions had won 3 of 4 before last week's overtime setback against South Carroll. Tristan West and Michael Martin have become reliable targets for quarterback Chase Miller with 16 catches apiece. Blake Cox has 5 sacks, and Nico Marxicano leads the team with 49 tackles. Last year's matchup, if you recall, was a doozy, with Westminster edging Liberty in overtime at Ruby Field. Let's look at some team stats from this matchup. The Owls have the county's top offense at better than 30 points per game, but the Lions have scored 55 points over the last 2 games. Westminster allows 16.7 points per game to Liberty's 23.4. It's a clash between 2 of the county's top quarterbacks when Kyrese Walker leads the Owls into facing Chase Miller and the Lions in Eldersburg. Miller leads Carroll County in passing yards, while Walker's 24 total touchdowns are tops in the county, and his completion percentage is the best of the starting QBs. It's time for the Coach's Corner, and we're going to hear from 2 coaches as they get ready for Week 8. First up, Westminster coach Chris Basler. Coach, how much of the last section of the regular season is about keeping guys mentally sharp? Because I know it's a grind. It's 9, 1-week seasons if you want to look at it that way. How much of it is making sure these guys are focused every day to get ready for Friday?
I mean, I think it's a lot of that. I think, especially this year, we kind of talked today about how the playoffs have started now. Liberty plays us tough every year,
right?
And Winters Mill's having a great year, and they're sitting there waiting for us week 9. So, from our standpoint, we feel like we're already in playoff mode, and that we have to be to try to play our best football.
In that vein, then, how have the kids responded to that challenge? That hey, even though it's week 6, 7, 8, we got to start thinking about playoff games now to get ready for the postseason.
I mean, I think they have handled it well. We focus so much. Our short-term goal is always win the next game. Our long-term goal is always to try to win the state championship. And, this time of year, those goals kind of start to veer together. But we have to focus on what's in front of us, every day at practice and get ready for Friday.
You mentioned Liberty. You've had some doozies. I remember an overtime game at their place that was big in the county championship. Last year goes overtime here. You guys get the victory. What do you expect out of them this week, and what do you think you need to do to win the game?
I mean, Coach Luke does an incredible job, and they'll be ready to play, and they have some really good skilled players that are going to, test us. And I expect it to be like it's been, a really competitive game that's going to come down to who can make one more play than the other guy.
Do you feel, can you sense that the kids know, especially your veterans, that this now, we're into mid-October now, you want to be playing into December, really, but can you flip that switch and kind of get into that playoff mode knowing that, hey, there are still goals out there to go after in the next month?
Yeah, I think especially when you look at our team this year, I don't think we've played our best game. We've played some good games, we've beat some good teams, but I don't know that we've put together 4 quarters of our best football. And I think that is really motivating to our guys because the finality of things are starting to kind of hit you in the face that if we don't put this together now, we could be in trouble.
Thanks to Chris Basler for spending a few minutes with us in the Coach's Corner. Up next is Liberty coach Larry Luth, whose team is coming off a heartbreaking overtime loss against rival South Carroll. Coach, each week is a learning experience. I know, you don't want to lose games, but what can you take away from what happened last week against a good team in South Carroll, despite their record?
This team is real resilient. We talk about every week. They never quit. They play hard. We play all 4 quarters. We went up. We ended up going down, and we fought our way back. Made it go to overtime. Gave ourselves an opportunity to win. We just haven't had a whole lot of balls bounce our way this year, and some years that happens, and we keep working, we'll keep grinding, and hopefully we can turn our fortunes around a little bit.
And in the beginning of the season, there were questions as to who was going to take the mantle on offense. Obviously, you had a guy like Seth Jacobs back early on in the year, new quarterback, new receiving core for the most part. Do you like the way they've gone from the week, first day of practice to now?
We haven't had Seth the last 2 games, and that's definitely been noticeable. I think Chase has really stepped up. He's matured, and I think he's probably thrown for close to 1,000 yards if he didn't break 1,000 after last week. He's making better decisions. Still like to see him be a little bit more careful with the ball, but he's making good decisions out there. He's getting the ball to our playmakers, and we have some playmakers. We just haven't really been able to put it all together. We've played some great halves of football. I don't feel like we've played a great game yet, and that's been a challenge for us to find the leadership and maturity to play a whole game, and we just haven't gotten there yet.
You'll likely need to do it again this week. Westminster Liberty has had a couple doozies in the last couple of years. What needs to go well for you guys to have a chance to be on top? I'm going to guess play a full game, play 4 quarters.
We definitely have to play 4 quarters, and then we're going to have to limit Kyrese's big plays. Last week, if you look at our record, it's games we give up more big plays than we make, or the games that we haven't won. And next week with Kyrese, he's a big playmaker. He makes some big throws when he has to. He makes some big runs when he has to. They throw the screen at just the right moment when you start overkeying on things. We have to limit big plays, and then we have to find a way for us to make a couple of the big plays, and we'll give ourselves a chance to win.
Thanks to Larry Luth for his time, and don't forget, Westminster vs. Liberty is one of 3 games we're going to be bringing you this Friday, October 20th. CMSportsNet has multi-game coverage with Winners Mill at Man Valley, South Carroll at Century, and the Owls taking on the Lions. Mike Kraus and I will have pregame coverage at 6:15, and kickoffs are set for 6:30. Coming up next, we'll check the boys and girls soccer standings as teams jockey for playoff positioning. We'll see how Carroll Lynx men's soccer and volleyball are faring. We'll recognize the athlete of the week, and we visited Coppermine 4 Seasons to profile the county champion Manchester Valley field hockey team. All that's coming up. Don't go away. Game On will be right back.
Hungry? Genova's to go. Pizza, pasta, subs, and more. Fresh hot pizza right from the oven. Genova's to go. A mouth-watering cheesesteak just off the grill. Genova's to go. Fresh baked bread and plump wings seconds from the fryer. Genova's to go. Genova's to go carry-out, delivery, mobile device, and online ordering is available at all locations. Westminster, Hampstead, Manchester, and our newest dining room in Eldersburg for lunch, dinner, or any time in between. Genova's to go.
Friday, 3 county clashes. Winners Mill versus Manchester Valley. Westminster versus Liberty. South Carroll versus Century.
Hi, I'm Pat Stoetzer. Join me for pregame reports, play-by-play commentary, and analysis. Don't miss CMSportsNet's Game of the Week.
It's time for another exciting season of CMSportsNet's award-winning coverage, and you can be part of it. Few things bring a community together like local sports, and when you become a sponsor of CMSportsNet, you can get your business in front of thousands of viewers each week. These are loyal fans with a passion for the sport and their school, and you can be the community leader that helps celebrate our hometown heroes. Best of all, CMSportsNet's extensive coverage means there's a host of ways you can get involved, from live Game of the Week coverage.
It was easy sailing once you saw middle of the field like that, yeah?
to highlights,
DeAndre Grooms comes up with the scoop and score.
exclusive interviews.
Everybody was talking like, it's not over yet, it's not over yet.
CM SportsNet's Athlete of the Week.
There must have been big expectations you guys put on yourselves just because of talent.
Blogs, podcasts, and more. There's an opportunity for every budget, and we can customize your package. So what are you waiting for? Get in the game. Call us today and put CM SportsNet to work for you.
Welcome back to Game On. Time to shift over to soccer now, and let's see which teams are trying to finish the regular season on a high note. Liberty clipped rival Century, and the Lions are on a 3-game winning streak as of this week. Westminster fell short against Delaney, and FSK lost to Catoctin of Frederick County. There are still a few more games on tap ahead of the playoffs, and one of them has county implications as South Carroll is hosting Liberty on Thursday night at Parker Field. The Owls and the Falcons also have home matches on Thursday evening. Wintersville has one more there on the road against Franklin. Time to take a look at the boys' soccer standings. The Lions and Cavs still have their county match to be decided. One item of note, Man Valley has played in 5 overtime matches this fall, and the Mavericks are 4-1 in those games, so really good start there for the Mavs. Checking in with some recent girls' soccer scores now. Century got past River Hill in a matchup of 2 top teams in the metro area. Manchester Valley ended a losing streak with that win over the Hawks you see, and Francis Scott Key saw its 8-game losing streak come to an end. Let's check the calendar as the regular season winds down. Liberty hosts South Carroll on Thursday in their final county match of 2023, and FSK has a home game as well, with the Eagles having won 2 in a row since last week. All right, time to see the Carroll County Athletic League standings for soccer. County champion Century has a 10-match unbeaten streak of more than a month. South Carroll had won 4 in a row before dropping a pair of matches, and Man Valley had been shut out for 3 straight games before beating North Hartford. Changing gears here, the Carroll County Athletic League Golf Tournament took place on October 13th at Westminster National Golf Course, and South Carroll successfully defended their title. The Cavaliers finished with a team score of 313, 19 strokes ahead of the rest of the CCAL field. The Cavs had 4 players shoot 81 or lower, led by Michael Valerio and Patrick Carl with a pair of 78s. Century's Ryan Durbarow earned county medalist honors with a round of 76 at the tournament, and Westminster finished second as a team, led by Riley Smith and Ty Street with their matching 81s. The state tournament for those who qualified is set for October 23rd through the 25th at University of Maryland. Here's a look at the CCAL golf standings. The county uses a point system to determine a team champ, with points earned for regular season wins and order of finish of the county tournament. South Carroll is the top team for a second straight fall season. Also, you can see 5 teams finish at 500 or better in county play. Pretty impressive. On to college sports now. Let's check in with the Carroll Lynx. Men's soccer ended the regular season in fine fashion with a 3-2 win on the road. The Lynx trailed 2-1 before scoring twice in the second half, and Anthony Wallace netted the game winner. The volleyball team turned things around this month after losing 5 in a row. The Lynx have won 3 of 4, including their sweep against Howard. Abigail Morley paced the offense with 29 assists in that win. Carroll has its final match of the regular season set for October 19th at home against Hagerstown, and after that, the Lynx will decide on playing in the postseason. We just found out recently men's soccer has a playoff match set for October 21st at Frederick at noon. Okay, time for the CMSportsNet Spotlight for this week. We checked in with Manchester Valley's field hockey team, which recently won its first ever county championship. The Mavericks and their longtime coach are trying to finish this fall 1 game better than they did in 2022, and that means capturing a state championship. Manchester Valley's field hockey team won 12 games last year and reached the Class 2A state championship game before falling short. That left a bad taste in the mouth of the Mavericks, especially those who returned for the 2023 season. Motivated by their runner-up finish against Glenelg last November, the Mavs entered the fall determined to write a different ending this time around. And so far, they're doing it. Man Valley won its first Carroll County Athletic League title in program history, and the team is 10-0 with 2 regular season games remaining before the regional playoffs begin.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, our attack and our midfielders, we definitely took accountability. We picked it right back up when we were upset about that loss, but we didn't let it get us down, and we got back to working, and we've definitely improved a lot more this year, I feel like, and just built really as a team, and I think we're going to make it to states this year.
It's been really great just having my last year being the first county champions for Manchester Valley Field Hockey, and just making history as a team has just been really fun and just fun to be a part of, especially with the state championship last year. It's just been great.
We're really excited. Our motto has been, first of all, we just take it one game at a time. You know, we try not to look ahead because we feel like we need to do things right in the beginning, which will affect the way that we do things in the end. So we're just pretty much focused on one game at a time.
That's Mavericks coach Deneen Kuntz, who started her coaching career back in 1993. Kuntz won a pair of state titles at North Carroll High School before taking over at Man Valley. Now she has the Mavericks looking for their first ever state championship, and Kuntz says she sees some similarities in this year's squad.
But this is a much different style of play, I think, than we had at North Carroll, so that's a little bit different. But the atmosphere is the same. I think the climate is the same. We're pleased with our defense and absolutely pleased with our midfield. I think our midfield, is just vital in this success because they are setting up opportunities for our attack to score, as well as slowing teams down in transition and playing on the defensive end as well. So.
Layla Lagunas leads the team in assists this season, and the senior midfielder said she has been working hard to become a more reliable teammate for her fellow Mavericks.
I feel like this year I've really just tried to stay in the circle and try to just pass the ball to see wherever everything is open. And I do try to take shots, but it's more about our team scoring and not me scoring. And Kuntz has really pushed me to just stay in the circle and just keep pushing in, and I feel like that's helped us a lot this year with growing and just scoring a lot. I feel like we scored a lot more goals in the games compared to last year, so I feel like it's been pretty good.
Man Valley's defense has allowed 1 goal through its first 10 games, anchored by junior Sophie Bear in the midfield. The Mavs outscored 6 Carroll County opponents by a combined 23-1, with South Carroll tallying the lone score. It's coming together for Manchester Valley. The Mavericks and their coach are trying to take it all in stride as the playoffs are about to begin.
I just feel like we all just get along really well and just mesh good together.
We're always doing things outside of practice and field hockey too that also really helps us to build that relationship and then on and off the field. So really important for us to all be friends. Not a lot of drama on this team, so.
This team is so unassuming. They're so humble. They're so, they're here to play hockey. And that's what I always tell them before we go out. I'm like, you girls, go out and play hockey. And that's what they do.
Man Valley has a road game today and 1 more home game Thursday before getting ready for the regional playoffs. All right, time to introduce the latest CM Sportsnet Athlete of the Week. Let's go down to South Carroll, where this player helped the football team collect its first win of the 2023 season. Let's find out who it is. This week's CM Sportsnet Athlete of the Week, South Carroll's Caleb Evans led the Cavaliers to their first football victory of the season last week. 3 touchdowns, very efficient in the passing game, and the game-winning touchdown was in overtime. Caleb, in week 6, you guys played really well, got to overtime against Wintersville and lost the game, unfortunately. What did you learn that week that you put into place this week and got the victory against a rival?
We realized that we had some missed opportunities, obviously, in the Wintersville game that we wanted to take advantage of against Liberty, and I think that we knew that since that was our second time going in there to overtime, I think we knew that we had it in us to win.
Yeah. How have you seen the passing game come along this year? Look, you never want to lose games. You started out with the first 5 weeks of 6 weeks of losses, but you got to want to make strides. How have you seen the offense make strides and where you were from week 1 to now?
Yeah, obviously week 1 we had a lot of help with Manny, who was our running back, but unfortunately he got hurt. But so that really told the passing game that we had to step up, and I think we've done that as the weeks have gone on, and we saw it against Liberty. So.
How much of that is also just communication with your receivers? You spend time after practice, during school, even after school, just getting that connection. How big is that in terms of paying off dividends and getting wins like you did last week?
Over the summer and obviously after practice, we make sure that we're all aligned. We know what we're doing. And against Liberty, we knew that we could trust our guys, and they made plays for us. So.
There's 2 regular season games left in the playoffs. Just how important is it, though, to get that win out of the way, celebrate it, and also realize that you are in these games. You can compete. You can, finish strong as opposed to what you did at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, we're really happy with our win because we're just trying to build momentum as we close out to the season and go into playoffs right now. And I think that we got a chip on our shoulder. We want to go finish out the season 3-6 and hopefully make a good playoff run.
All All right, congrats on a great game last week. Caleb Evans, this week's CM Sportsnet Athlete of the Week.
CM Sportsnet's Athlete of the Week is brought to you in part by Barnes Bollinger Insurance Services and by Genova's To Go.
Congrats to Caleb Evans for being named the latest CM Sportsnet Athlete of the Week. He'll be back in action this week, and we'll have that game on our radar. And that's going to do it for another episode of Game On. As always, thank you for watching. Don't forget, we've got multi-game coverage for you on Friday, October 20th as 3 county football matchups kick off in Week 8. We'll have action from Westminster Liberty, Winters Mill Manchester Valley, and South Carroll Century. Mike Kraus joins me for pregame coverage at 6:15, and the games begin at 6:30. Be sure to catch all of our high school sports content online on Facebook and YouTube, as well as our website at carrollmediacenter.org. And you can watch us on cable channel HD 1086. Thanks again, everybody, and we'll see you next time.